the day after the Trump quake, and I don't know how you could put any superlatives on this. It's just amazing. We got a Trump slide, and but for many of us who just have been feeling the the anger and the angst and the pain, and for somebody like me who grew up in Pennsylvania in a union household, and now as a entrepreneur after a successful corporate career, I've seen all sides here, and government was not our friend at all. And it just appeared to me to be a cabal of people who literally were carving out riches and a lifestyle for themselves that was beyond our border, and everybody else was pretty much really cattle. And I don't think that was lost on people. And I think this is going to resonate for years. And if Trump does this right, I think we basically put the elites on notice that we're watching and we know how to checkmate you. And so it's going to be really interesting times, and I think it's going to make some great trading opportunities for us, but we're just going to have to remain very, very vigilant. Things are going to move very fast, as you probably saw. And so I'm going to just walk through some of the main charts and just give you my perspective, what I think is going to happen over the next couple days or weeks. And so, we went into the election with a slightly negative bias. We just weren't sure, but things seemed heavy, and my thought was that this was going to happen, but for Hillary, not for Trump, and I was prepared then to sell the rips. But what happened was that the market just collapsed as he won more states, and then something happened around 1 a.m. East Coast time. I was up, and I noticed Trump was winning states, but the market was going up, and all the data that was telling us that he was going to win it out, it looked like a foregone conclusion. And so I bought some option calls because I had SPY puts on, and I didn't want to wake up and have them just crushed. And I also had VXX calls on, so I put on a hedge and went to bed, but I got up 3 hours later, like 4 a.m, and I just saw the market just cruising. And so, this is just an amazing day. This is the downtrend line. It just obliterated it. It went through 1, 2, 3 fib lines, and I think it's probably going to drift back to here, and then I think it's going to probably try to get back up to the top of this channel. And the reason being is that there's a lot of put calls. People bought a lot of protection. It's way overinsured. I talked about this before. I said it was just mind-boggling to me the amount of insurance people were buying, and I just couldn't figure it out. If everybody thought Hillary was going to win, why are they buying all this insurance? And they probably were buying all this insurance because Hillary was going to win, but they were talking out of both sides of their mouth as they always do. And so let me just go out here and just look at the daily on this. Is as you can see, we're just right back in the channel again. And so I'm looking for a bounce, and then going into next week, I'm looking for some weakness. It could be really radical weakness. A lot of currencies and bonds are out of whack right now, and there could be margin calls, and until all it sorts back out again. And then I think we'll have a benign Thanksgiving week, and then we'll have a little bit of fear going into the Thanksgiving. The Fed meeting, and then once that's out of the way, then I think we will have a Christmas rally. But it's just absolutely amazing to me, when you looked at, what happened, here. I was expecting a move to here, and then ultimately to here, and then ultimately to here. I got to adjust my thinking now. We're going from probably a deflation-centric trade to now back to an inflation trade, back to the beginning of the year. And so it's going to change a lot of things we do, but not everything. And I'll talk about that in a second. Let's look at XIV. Incredible friend to us today. We traded this, and we also bought UVXY puts, and we just held on. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, look at the move on this XIV from yesterday till today. I mean, it's a sight to behold. I mean, it got down to 33. Just so you know, from 4 o'clock to 6:30 in the morning, I tried to buy XIV pre-market. I couldn't get anybody to sell it to me. So I knew something was going to explode. So I literally just bought the open and held my nose. I figured, hey, it may drift down here a little bit whoops, over here. You know, I figured it was going to drift down in the open, and it did a little bit. It popped and it went down, and then it popped again, and so it was just an amazing move. And I mean, it's literally gone from closing. You know, I think the low was around 33 overnight, and they got up to almost 40. It's just unheard of, and I think this is going to break over 40. So I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback. People kind of sorting themselves out here, and then I'm looking for a thing that just to rocket up over 40. In fact, it may even get to 50 before the Fed meeting nervousness, but I think we have to get through next week first. But just an incredible move, and it's just always our friend. Whenever this gets oversold, oversold like this, or UVXY gets overbought. I mean, look at this. This was a tremendous opportunity, and you know, we didn't catch the Sunday night move. This was the Hillary was saved move right here. How ironic, and it just kept going down for Trump. It's because of the message he put forward, and so now looking at what started to move is and I was saying this. I bought CHK and I bought CRK because oil looked like it bottomed right here. See. And I got a little nervous because oil was down all night last night, and then it just moved right back up. And so people are getting out of bonds, they're getting into equity, but they're getting into the commodities, but not necessarily getting into gold and silver yet too much. I think they're worried about the Fed. But base metals and energy look like they're going to do great. So we have CHK. We're in that. We got it at 545, and you know, I was looking at $6. I think it's going to hit that. Beautiful 10% trade in a week. I love it. And then we have CRK, which I was surprised it didn't move as much as I thought it would. I'm trying to understand a little bit more about it. Maybe because it has some natural gas in it. I'm in at 892 is my average price. The subscribers I had at 895 to $9. But I think SCRK has a high beta, so if energy holds, this thing's going to rocket. And so we had a great trade on it, earlier last month, and made really good money on it. And I expect to make 20-30% on this one again. And the other thing that turned was Boyle. So natural gas. I mean, I had a great trade on it, made some really good money, and then I had 2 trades that we just got wiped out on. And we bought again today, and I think natural gas has a bottom here for a little bit. You take advantage of it, and what I'm looking for here is, like I said, going into next year, February, March. It's just going to be absolutely spectacular, and so I think we're going to see some really good moves on natural gas. The cold weather they're seeing in Russia right now is gonna undulate over to the U.S. and all that cold air that's sitting over Siberia right now. That's just being the energy and the heat just being sucked out of that area as those storms start cycling across the Pacific and come over to the U.S. It's just going to be cold air into our country, and Canada and the central U.S. are just going to get hammered, and you're going to just see some great moves on this. So we're back in this again, and hopefully we'll get a little payback and look for this thing to move back higher. But at any rate, I think natural gas is looking pretty decent. What got hit pretty hard though today is corn, and wheat and soybeans. The final crop report came out and said we just had a spectacular year. That is absolutely an opportunity to buy, and so I'll be calling out a buy signal on corn and wheat. And whoops, sorry, I have to learn how to spell first. And wheat wasn't really touched that too much, and so corn is going through its up cycle. So I just think this is a move by big money, chase people out, and get themselves positioned. But I'm looking for corn to just keep on keeping on. And when we start seeing this cold weather come through, and they see how late it's going to take them to put the corn in the ground next year, not here only, but in China, I think you're going to see some really good moves in the grains. And take a look here at gold. Kind of a little bit of a sybil today. Look at that move. And we stayed away because I wasn't quite sure how to take any of this. And I know it's so crazy with gold and silver and the miners will move, is that with this Fed meeting in front of us and the bond yields just getting crushed, not yield, but the bond price, I'm like, that's not a recipe for positive metals. So I'm just going to wait it out and see what the Fed does. And I have a bet on with somebody that they weren't going to raise rates, but now that Trump won, that was my only caveat. I mean, I'm going to lose the bet, but my only caveat was if Trump won the election, they're going to move forward with this. Yellen's not Trump's guy, but I will tell you this: the Federal Reserve and the banks are absolutely delighted that Trump won. Don't let them fool you. They played the game. They had to play the game with the Democrats and Hillary because they own all the power. But the Federal Reserve was out of ammunition, and they needed fiscal stimulus. And if Clinton won the presidency, and the House and Senate were divided with Republicans, they were going to give her nothing, and we would have augured into the ground. And so it would have been a very deflationary year. Now that this has come up, the banks are absolutely delighted because now they can raise credit. Federal Reserve's delighted. They can lift interest rates, give themselves some room to maneuver, and put the onus back on the Congress where it belongs to drive policy for our country, not the Federal Reserve, and let them start to unwind this thing. Not that I'm a Fed fan, just don't get me wrong there. I'm just talking about the thinking and how it's going. And so trust me, they're stoked, and those people they're fearful of Obama and Clinton, and Trump. They don't have that same fear, and he's a kindred spirit with those guys. He's a natural New Yorker. Those guys are all New Yorkers. They all talk each other's language. They all run into each other, and I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody says. They are absolutely delighted that he won this election, and he said what he said last night. So anyway, tomorrow is another day. I'm just going to play it day by day now because, I think, we're just going to have to go with the flows. And but I'll have more to say. I'll talk a little bit more about what I think is going to happen more geopolitically now. I mean, just incredible chess moves are being thrown around now, and what it means for our country. And a lot of it's good, some of it's not so good, and but we're in motion now, so we can't look back. This was a momentous election. Whether you like it or whether you hate it, you can't deny it. Anyways, Bob from Trade Genius. I'll catch you guys all tomorrow, and I'll be on Next News Network tonight. So take a look, and if you like what I have to say, hey, like my stuff and tell people to stop by and watch the videos. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye bye.